Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoy the UFC content, and please go down there and let me know if these would be the things that you would add to each one of these fighters. You know, I think that the UFC champions are champions for a reason, but that still doesn't mean that they have holes or deficiencies in their game. Even someone as good as Islam Makhachev, you could pick little tiny parts about his game out of it. I think each champion is a different person, they're built a different way, and they have a different technique and style to them. But if we could fix that up, that would make each one of these champions that much more dominant and ultimately just be unfair for the organization. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA. And if you guys enjoyed the UFC content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That is the best way to help the channel grow. And while you're down there, please turn on the post notifications, just so you guys are always notified about UFC content releasing every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon with more UFC content and news. I'm going to start with the heavyweight division, and I'm going to talk Tom Aspinall first. Tom Aspinall, the one thing that you could add to his game would be a little bit of defense around that chin. Tom Aspinall's a great fighter, super well-rounded. I don't think he needs a lot, but the one thing that really does scare me about Tom Aspinall is that defense that he has, keeping his chin so high up in the air. One of these guys like Sergey Pavlovich, Cyril Gane, and any heavyweight really currently could clip that chin and knock Tom Aspinall out. Now, thankfully, he is so quick that he really hasn't been able to do that, but he did eat a massive punch from Pavlovich. And yes, that chin might be great, but he was able to withstand it and ultimately take it right to the face. And that's something that was kind of, interesting to see, but I don't want him to even be in that aspect of taking a shot like that. So if we could give Tom Aspinall a better, not chin, but better chin defense to where he could tuck his chin a little bit, keep his hands a little bit higher, have that perfect fundamental form, I think that would make him one of the most dangerous champions inside the UFC and just make him less hittable than he already is. And Jon Jones, on the other hand, the disputed heavyweight champion right now, what could you do? Biggest thing that you could do with Jon Jones is decrease that age a little bit. Jon Jones, as we all know, 37 years young. That is not that young inside the UFC, considering that he has been in the sport since 2010, 2009. He's been here for a very long time. So if you could tell Jon Jones to say, you know what, let's carve 6, 7, 8, 9 years with keeping all the experience you have inside the UFC. Let your body get back to what it was. That would be an incredible thing to do. Jon Jones would really be unstoppable in whatever division he wanted to fight in inside the organization. And I think that that would give him the best ability to do whatever he wanted truly. And I don't think that there was any single fighter in the organization who could beat this Jon Jones with this level of experience, with genuinely that age being down. And obviously, as we all know, age, experience are trade-offs with one another, but if you get to keep all that experience while lowering that age, that would be incredible to see. Tom Aspinall, do you lower his chin? Jon Jones, do you take a couple years off? I think that both these guys would be incredible heavyweights. Alex Pereira, the current light heavyweight champion. What is Alex's biggest weakness? Pretty easy, his grappling game. Let's just add a little bit of grappling into that. Grappling defense, grappling offense. Do you understand how good Alex Pereira would be if we put, let's say, I don't know, like Khabib's grappling on him? If you put Khabib's grappling on Alex Pereira, he would be there's no question in my mind he would be the greatest fighter in UFC history. You would not only have a takedown threat coming at you in that direction, but he could start using the fake takedowns to then strike on the feet to knock out any single opponent he could ever want. Alex Pereira would be undefeated in MMA. There'd be no one who could possibly go out there and challenge for him. He would be threatening with a takedown every single time. He would never get taken down. All of his issues would be resolved. The only thing that you can do to Alex Pereira to win rounds is to take him down. You can't beat him in the stand-up category. For Alex Pereira to fix that instantly with a grappling game while adding a grappling offense would be the biggest just cheat code in UFC history. Alex Pereira is just that good. And you look at everything that he's kind of done, and you sit here and go, whoa, a grappling game like Khabib Nurmagomedov, add that to Alex Pereira, or even a fraction of Khabib, you add that to Alex Pereira, he's probably the greatest fighter maybe in UFC history, because he's got that just straight striking style that probably he's the best striker in UFC history, I believe. But you add that grappling on him, no one can take him down. You got to strike with him, and you go night-night anytime you do that. Alex Pereira, current UFC light heavyweight champion, add a little bit of striking on him, and he is going to be unbeatable. Dricus Du Plessis, the current UFC middleweight champion. I think if we add a little bit of striking technique to him, he is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. Now, this is a very hard one because Dricus is very well-rounded. I understand that he might not have the best, striking or grappling ability, but I see that very awkward striking style. And I kind of see it working to his advantage in some category, But I think if he was incredibly technical, I think he would be even better than this really crazy Looney Tunes punching that he has all the time. So I do think that Dricus Du Plessis, if we were able to kind of slow him down a little bit, be able to compose himself just so he can throw some shots a little bit better and not be as wild as what he's been doing, and considering in these last couple of fights, which has got him clipped in some instances, I think Dricus Du Plessis, that is a very big blessing for him that he's so awkward and throws opponents off, but it's going to get him hurt sometime. I think if we just give him some little bit technical striking, it will ultimately help him out in the long term. Dricus Du Plessis is a very good fighter. This is a very hard thing to decide, but ultimately I think we need to give Dricus Du Plessis a tad bit more technicality when it comes to striking. Belal Muhammad, on the other hand, I think we got to just give him a whole striking arsenal. Let's combine Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad into a fighter. Let's just do that at this point, because Leon, with Belal's killer instinct, grappling, and striking ability, would be an amazing fighter. Leon's biggest thing was he had no killer instinct, and you add that now with Belal's hunger, his great cardio, grappling ability, that would be one of the best fighters in UFC history. Those two guys, adding that all to Belal would be incredible. But Belal's wrestling ability is actually amazing. And I sit here and there's not that many critiques that I have looking at Belal Muhammad's game besides that striking. He's got a great jab, and he's got a great double leg takedown. But that's not striking, that's just his jab. So I think if we were able to throw some more kicks, more diversity, a lot more sharpness, a lot more technique, everything in there, Belal Muhammad would be incredibly amazing inside the octagon. And I truly think that Belal Muhammad would be an unstoppable fighter at welterweight. Having that level of pressure with that level of cardio, combined with a grappling ability, and that good level of a striker, there's no one who could beat him at welterweight. Even guys like Shavkat, Prime Usman, Colby, Jack Della, anyone like that, there's no way that they're being Belal Muhammad if he had a striking game. And I think that adding a striking game to Belal would benefit everyone the most, especially him, considering that he would be able to win in almost every single category in the UFC. And that's why adding a striking thing to Belal Muhammad would be absolutely incredible. Okay, Islam Makhachev. The biggest thing we need to add to Islam is not make him like Elastic Man or rubber. We got to make him so he gets inside the octagon, because this man only fights he never fights, I feel like. Islam fought twice in 2023, and he fought once in 2024, and then he broke his hand after he said he wanted to flip around really quickly, and is hopefully going to fight in January of 2025, but that's not even a guarantee. So I think the one thing that we can do to Islam is just upgrade his durability a little bit. I think Islam is a very good fighter. I'm sitting here struggling to think what you could do to change his game because he's that good, but I look and see Islam, and I just say, can we get him back into the octagon a little bit more? He's got great cardio, great striking, great grappling, and everything in between, but Islam just needs a little bit more durability, just so he's not breaking anything and not doing this and not doing that, and just so we can send him back into the octagon to get some more incredible wins, considering that in his title reign, he has 1 decision, 2 subs, and 1 knockout. He's an absolutely crazy human being, probably one of the best technical fighters we've ever seen inside the organization, and Islam Makhachev is just that special, to where the one thing I have to say that he needs to improve on is his actual durability as a human being to step inside the octagon. Ilia Topuria, the current featherweight champion, what can we do to make him the best fighter on planet Earth? I don't think there's anything skillfully that you can do. He's got a great chin, but let's add a little bit more output to Ilia's game. Now, Ilia is a power puncher, and the biggest thing with that is he's got, your fast twitch muscle fibers. He throws so much power in every single shot. He doesn't really have that style to really throw the output. But if we gave him more output, it would be insane to see Ilia Topuria probably going out and knocking out everyone in the first round, just because of how technical he could be in every little category. Add that technicality, add everything that Ilia Topuria brings to the table, but just throw more of it. More of it in this situation wouldn't hurt him, because a lot of guys, he is such good defense that even when he throws shots, the opponent can't throw back because he's protected himself in every little category. Ilia Topuria would then be, not only is he one of the best knockout artists right now, he might be the best knockout artist in UFC history if he threw more output. And I understand that Ilia Topuria's game is kind of setting up shots and whatnot, but Ilia is so good at that to where I feel like if he threw more output with those devastating shots he has in different categories and different times, he would be able to get more knockouts in that category, and I think that would just ultimately make him a better fighter. Merab Dvalishvili kind of is a grappler's dream. Incredible cardio, great grappling and wrestling ability. Let's add a striking game to Merab. Let him be a dynamic striker on the feet like his brother Ilia Topuria. Merab Dvalishvili with a striking game would be the most dangerous bantamweight in UFC history by far, no doubt in my mind. You add that level of wrestling control time with a devastating knockout striker, that would be insane to see. Merab's already got a great chin. He already throws so much output. Really, he would just be Ilia Topuria with output like I did in my last section. He is that good if you gave him a great striking game. You know, Merab Dvalishvili is a very one-sided fighter when it comes to his wrestling game being so much. His striking defense isn't that great. His striking offense is okay. But if we added Merab Dvalishvili with that level of striking, that would put him in a tier of fighters that the only 1% would be in. He would be maybe the greatest fighter in the UFC organization right now. And that is crazy to say considering of how much fighters are in the organization right now and how good they are. Merab would then be one of the top, if not the best fighter in the UFC. And he already is one right now. And you add that level of striking game, it would be unreal, unbreaking, and genuinely Merab would be on another level. And lastly, Alexandre Pantoja, the UFC flyweight champion. What can we do to Pantoja? Let's give him a better gas tank. If you gave Alexandre Pantoja Merab Dvalishvili's gas tank, it'd be over. He's already got a chin made of vibranium. He's got a pretty good striking game, a really good grounded jiu-jitsu game, but his gas tank is something that has always wavered in all of his fights, especially with that fight with Moreno. That fight with Royval at the end of it, he was getting tired. That fight with Steve Ersteg, he was getting tired. Let's give Alexandre Pantoja that incredible gas tank to go for however long he wants. Pantoja throws so much into every little strike that he has to where he definitely needs to have a better gas tank in literally every single standpoint. And I think that would help him a lot in all of his category. Being able to grapple for longer, strike for longer periods of time, and not feel like he has to resort to laying on top of people would 100% help him in the fights. Alexandre Pantoja is a very good, well-rounded fighter. But if we can just implement that right now, give him that incredible gas tank, he would be the best fighter inside the organization right now. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoy the UFC content, and please go down there and let me know if these would be the things that you would add to each one of these fighters. You know, I think that the UFC champions are champions for a reason, but that still doesn't mean that they have holes or deficiencies in their game. Even someone as good as Islam Makhachev, you could pick little tiny parts about his game out of it. I think each champion is a different person, they're built a different way, and they have a different technique and style to them. But if we could fix that up, that would make each one of these champions that much more dominant and ultimately just be unfair for the organization. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA. And if you guys enjoyed the UFC content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That is the best way to help the channel grow. And while you're down there, please turn on the post notifications. Just so you guys are always notified about UFC content releasing every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon with more UFC content and news.